Hello, my name is Mícheál Keating. I'm very happy to be here with you today. This is my presentation titled Digital Folk Art, Seeing Rural Ireland Through the Image Culture of DoneDeal.ie. I'm a media artist and musician based in Limerick City. I grew up on a family dairy farm in West Limerick, something which worms its way into my work a lot. My work spans sound, video, performance, found media, writing and other media. And I like to look at change in rural landscapes under neoliberal capitalism and also touch other themes such as digital archives and the more than human. I studied a Master's in Art and Technology in UL, where I specialised in hauntology and digital archives in a regional context of Limerick. So my work usually has a kind of regional bent, looking at global media technologies as they manifest at a local level. Today, I'll talk about my work examining the image culture of DoneDeal.ie. DoneDeal.ie hails itself as Ireland's largest motor and classifieds marketplace. It was founded by an Irish-Norwegian couple, and the site was later bought by Norwegian and Irish companies who came together and who now manage Adverts, DoneDeal and Daft.ie, that dreaded property website a lot of us know only too well. DoneDeal makes money by charging users a fee to upload ads, as well as various kinds of digital advertising on the site itself. I just wanted to give a little context to the economy which this image culture arises out of. The presentation will look at DoneDeal.ie as a media environment. We're going to be looking at digital imagery uploaded by sellers who use the site, in particular those from rural County Limerick, where I'm from. Sellers upload imagery of items they want to sell for potential buyers to see. So these images are utilitarian, but we'll be looking at them as documentary of the landscape of rural Ireland and as a kind of accidental folk art. I'll be running through observations, musings and personal residences I've had on my journey exploring the platform. The story starts here with my old Toyota Corolla. It started to make strange groaning noises whenever I locked the wheels too hard, which later became more of a horrible grinding. Though I had the car for 10 years, I had to accept it was time for it to go. And I did what many people do. I went on to DoneDeal.ie to look for a replacement. I very quickly became distracted by images on the site. I was looking at things I wasn't supposed to be looking at within the images. I was drawn in by different details, weird reflections, stray objects, details in the background. Quickly, I became so transfixed by the imagery that I was completely off the rails in my search for a good second-hand car. I set the search filter to County Limerick only, began scrolling and scrolling, screenshotting and stockpiling images that I found interesting, funny or strange, first hundreds of them and then thousands. It struck me that the sellers of DoneDeal are a community of image makers, smartphone photographers, all participating in a very particular idiom with their own specific set of aesthetics. It also seemed to me that these images are from the gaze of ordinary working people as they incidentally document the environments they inhabit. These aren't God's overview of a landscape, but myriad perspectives from the messy, lived inside of the landscape. The accessibility to photographic technology that has come to rural Ireland in the past half-century means many people are able to make photographs, and with social media, people have avenues through which they can disseminate. But DoneDeal's image culture differs a lot from that of Instagram, for example. It bypasses the intensive curation, the aspiration, the irony, the self-consciousness and the trendiness, and gives us different, messier, more terrestrial and raw perspectives. A quick note on folk art. It's a bit of a 19th century term with no solid definition. It's considered to be art by people who haven't gone through the Western idea of formal art training, but who have established styles of work. A country, region or community may have a characteristic folk art. Folk art often has a utility or practical function of some kind. I might be facetious in saying so, but I think the smartphone photographers of DoneDeal.ie are a community of folk artists. I want to lend this attention and importance to the images they make because I'm compelled by the matter-of-fact, uncontrived way that they depict rural Ireland. As well as that, DoneDeal listings can reflect social reality in Ireland. This is apparent in the hundreds of cars listed perennially on the site, which are advertised for sale due to their owners emigrating. Emigration is seen as a proof of an honest reason for selling a car. Seeing these listings, I can't help but be reminded of all the traditional Irish folk songs that lament emigration and homesickness. The images are mundane, and the longer you pay attention to them, the more uncanny they become. They are enigmatic images. Identities are hidden, lives are obfuscated, out of reach. They are images of absence, but details leak from the box. Clues, traces, signs of life. A human shadow, a distorted reflection in the door panelling, loose change, rosary beads hanging from the rear view. I find the gaze of these people to be relatable, the worlds they're depicting to be familiar, similar to those I've lived in. We see bungalows, housing estates, yards, lawns, roads, hedgerows, fields. The listings are anonymised, though I feel like a lot of these pictures could have been taken by someone I know, could have been taken by my uncle. The images are all the more cryptic for their speed and the sheer quantities in which they live. DoneDeal is a huge ephemeral archive. Images vanish upon sale or withdrawal, and new ones appear with fresh listings. Wikipedia claims that DoneDeal runs at around 300,000 active ads. The images are often bad quality, and this often adds to their strange allure. Taken on phones at weird angles with low pixel counts, compressed to bits. In recent years, though, I've noticed the quality of the pictures has generally gotten a bit fancier as phone cameras are upgraded. I'm drawn to the most decrepit images that I can find. The blurred, badly lit, the awkward and the chaotic. They seem to have an extra mystery to them. Maybe I carry the silly idea that because they're extra raw, they contain more truth within them. DoneDeal's popularity with rural users eventually drew me in deeper, and I wandered away from the motoring section over to the farming section of DoneDeal. Suddenly, I was poring over sensuous imagery of tractors, rusty machinery, farmyards and tire heaps. These images touched some kind of nostalgic nerve within me, probably stemming from my childhood growing up on a family dairy farm in West Limerick. It touched other nerves too. I have quite a complicated relationship with farming, given that my family considered it my predetermined fate in early life. It became clear as I grew up, though, that continuing the family farm wasn't where my personal motivations lay. I live in the city now. I've kept a vegan diet for the past 5 years, and I've tried my best not to engage at all with the world of animal agriculture, even as a consumer. But still, these familiar farmlands, the fields and hedges and clicking fences, the muck and the machinery, they'll never leave me. I realised that I had entered into a space where browsing DoneDeal had become an almost hilariously emotional and personal ordeal. I really didn't expect to get in this deep. Among listings of tractors, etc., you'll find livestock for sale on DoneDeal. These images offer a somewhat haunting study of the relations between man, animal, and machine in rural Ireland. The animal's human keepers lurk like ghosts outside the frame, and instead of cute, interesting, or anthropomorphized representations as seen throughout popular culture, we examine the animals through a colder, matter-of-fact lens. We look for good breeding, strong physical characteristics, healthy, unproblematic, productive animals. When I look at these photographs, I'm struck by the unknowability of the creatures, their alterity, their wildness. Though they've been bred, bought and sold here for a long time, they still hold on to that otherness. They carry a look in their eyes, the bottomless abyssal gaze, beyond the reaches of human understanding. It's said that cattle, sheep and goats have been kept by humans in Limerick for 3,000 or 4,000 years, with Neolithic farmers settling in the existing woodlands and gradually clearing it away to create grazing pasture. The settlers shaped the land and it shaped them back. And the soil, the climate, it turns out, was perfect for grass growing and cattle rearing. Still, in 2024, animal food production remains more than ever the preoccupation of this land. In a 2020 land use survey, 59% of Ireland's total land use was agricultural grassland. To put that into perspective, land under human settlement was a mere 2%. If you string these DoneDeal images together, consider their fragmented viewpoints collectively, it's like an immense, continually updating patchwork of rural Ireland, the landscape depicted from within by its own inhabitants. It shows a farming tradition which has evolved on this same land for thousands of years and is now at a pivotal moment. Family farms still endure here, unlike many other places. But in the last couple of generations, the landscape has changed vastly as neoliberal logic penetrates further and further into the traditional heart of Irish farming. Farms grow in size and diminish in number. Bolstered by European Union investment, new wealth and technologies, they become more specialised and streamlined. Dairy is considered a white gold export. Cattle population has exploded, and high-yield Frisian breeds have become a monoculture. The average age of the farmer is getting older and older, and despite the profitability, the vocation is now falling out of favour among younger generations, myself included, who are leaving in pursuit of other lifestyles in urban centres and abroad. If family farms aren't carried on, lands will be put up for sale, opening up an ominous potential for corporate buyouts. On top of all this, anxiety around biodiversity loss, greenhouse gas emissions, and climate change increasingly casts a shadow of uncertainty over the industry as a whole. DoneDeal's image culture depicts to me a very troubled rural landscape, pulled between past and future. Now, rural Ireland is on an eerie precipice. What not too long ago was subsistence farming and poverty has now become a booming, insatiable export market and a climate emergency. Farmers are currently hanging in the imbalance of capitalism and climate. And that's what I found out from DoneDeal. Thank you very much.